Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back with another edition of Cleats Up. Blake, it was kind of a weird week, a lot of interleague matchups. I'll go over the American League and the National League to keep it short, and then pushing on to you for the Interleague. But Rangers took 2 of 3 from Seattle. Red Sox took 2 of 3 from the O's. They definitely needed that after that tough series in Texas. Twins, 2 of 3 from the White Sox, and then the National League. Dodgers and Braves. The Dodgers came back with Tani walk-off homer. Braves blow 2 games there, and they're winless, and we'll get to that in a second. The Mets took 2 of 3 from Miami, and then the Phillies swept the Rockies. No surprise there.
Yeah, down in the interleague, lots of interleague matchups, like you mentioned. Arizona takes 2 of 3 in the Bronx, almost came back for a sweep today. Texas takes 2 of 3 from Cincinnati. Tampa takes 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh. Down in St. Louis, 3 extra inning games for the Angels and the Cardinals, and the Angels end up taking 2 of 3 there, so that's a good series win for them. Toronto Blue Jays end up taking all three from the Washington Nationals. Brewers take 2 of 3 from the Royals. Giants sweeping the Astros in Minute Maid Park, and then the Guardians get swept on the road in San Diego, and a lot of high scoring games there down in Sacramento as the A's opened up their season at home. Cubs end up taking all three.
Yeah, the Angels series actually was only 2 extra inning
Oh yeah,
games,
sorry about
but
that. Yeah,
that third game was headed towards extra innings before
yeah,
the Angels, ran out of pitching and, the Cardinals put it on. But let's jump into it. Story of the season so far. The Braves are 0-7. They've lost some tough games, especially in that Dodger series.
yeah.
And unfortunately for the Braves, there's never been a team in MLB history to start 0-7 and make the playoffs. And I will say right now, maybe this is bold, maybe it's not because it's the Atlanta Braves. The Braves will make the playoffs this year. I think they will. And they're going to be the first team to ever do this, start 0-7 and make it. There hasn't been a team go 0-7 and crawl back to 500 in 42 years. So, some interesting stats there, but I'm going to go out and say I'm still all in on this Braves team.
Yeah, the history is definitely not on the Braves side. I'm gonna agree with you. I think the Braves do make the playoffs. I think they are talented enough to turn this ship around. But it's also a division where you got the Mets in there and the Phillies in there. You can't let this get to 10, 11, 12 losses, right? And then there's not much more wiggle more room like left here. Like the 7 losses is a lot. It's gonna be interesting to see. They got the Marlins coming up, so hopefully, that's a series where you can rack up some wins. You know, Obviously the Marlins have been good to start the season a little bit, but yeah, this is a very uncharacteristic start, and this is just very surprising.
Yeah, and it hasn't been any easier off the field either. Jerkson Profar, they just signed him. Well, he's been taking PEDs and he's going to be out 80 games. It's just been a disastrous start for this group.
Yeah,
Obviously, Acuna hasn't played yet either. Um, and second to that, this outfield mix just got a little bit weaker. But
yeah,
they did sign Alex Verdugo a couple of weeks back, right before
yeah,
the season. And if I had to guess, they knew that this was blooming.
yeah.
Um, usually when these things happen, there's appeals, and I think now, I mean, when Alex Verdugo signed with the Braves, I was scratching my head like, what is the fit here?
Right.
They have Kelenic, they have Harris, they have Profar. Now they're adding Verdugo. That's four guys that can hit from the left hand side in their outfield. Plus Acuna's coming back. What is the fit? Well, the fit is Jerkson Profar is already going to be on the shelf for 80 games, and I think that opens up the door for Alex Verdugo.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, he probably needs a little bit of time to ramp up. Obviously, no spring, but yeah, it's tough. Bro, obviously, Profar had that career year last year with the Padres, so it is tough to for that to happen. But yeah, let's go over to the extensions. A lot of extensions here. We'll start with Jackson Merrill, 9 years, $135 million deal, club option for a 10th year. Just what's your thoughts on the deal? I think it's a pretty safe bet here for the Padres, a guy that bursted on the scene last year in his rookie year.
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Merrill probably will be their next and up and coming star outside of Tatis. I mean, those are the two guys that are signed up long term there, past Machado, past Darvish. So yeah, I mean, this is a guy that's obviously impactful to their lineup. They most like him as a culture fit as well to give him this opportunity to stay there for that long. And I think the extension that was most interesting to me was that Ketel Marte. I mean, he is 31, and I believe the deal was what, 6 years.
Yep, 6 years.
Um,
Yep.
so, that one's gonna be interesting. It is only 19 million a year when you break it down,
Yep.
but he is gonna be 35, 36, 37 the back half of that extension. So, we'll see how that pans out for the D-backs, and then obviously the Crochet deal.
Yeah.
Crochet, the pitchers are tricky, especially with health. But Garrett Crochet, over the past year and a half, has came onto the scene, and in my opinion, is probably a top 10 to 15 pitcher in baseball. Um, he's just that good, and the Red Sox traded a ton of capital for him, so they had to cash in here, and they had to pay him because if not, losing um, Montgomery and Kyle Teal for a year and a half, 2 years of Crochet
Yep.
could have been disastrous. But now they make it right. They get the deal done. And not to mention, they also inked Campbell.
Yeah.
They're young, up and coming. I'm not sure we should use the term star yet, but he looks promising and he looks
Yeah.
really freaking good since he's came up.
Yep.
So they inked him through arbitration and plus some. So um, which one of these deals to you is going to be the most impactful?
I think it's the Crochet one. I mean, there's not much more tantalizing guys from the left side like Crochet, upper 90s fastball. He's entering the prime of his career. You mentioned it off the top. You trade a guy like Braden Montgomery, Garrett, or pardon me, Kyle Teal. You have to get this guy locked up long term, and it's at a pretty reasonable price. I believe it's only about $28 million a year for a top end starter. You look at what a guy like Corbin Burns just signed for, and you know, he's way younger too. So yeah, I love the deal. I actually honestly like all these deals to be honest. I think Marte that could age a little poorly in the back end of that deal, but um, you know, you're getting him right now. He's coming off of MVP caliber season, so it's going to be interesting for sure. But it's nice to see some extensions early on in the season. Gives us something to talk about.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's move into our last story here, and that is the NLS is going to be a freaking dogfight. I mean, the Giants are what, 5-1 to start the year, and they're in third place.
Yep.
The Dodgers haven't lost. Um, Tatis and the Padres haven't lost.
Yep.
And then there's the D-backs who just battled their ass off against the Yankees in the Bronx.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, there's the Rockies. We don't have to talk about them, but you know, we didn't know what we were gonna get out of the Giants. Obviously, they signed Adames to start the. I'm sorry, they signed Adames in the off season. We didn't know what
Yep.
type of year they were gonna have. Um, but so far, so good. And Logan Webb has looked really good as well. Um, the Dodgers are a wagon. They are they
Oh
are
man.
unreal. But the fact that these teams are keeping pace, I mean, we'll see how long they can.
Yep.
But hats off to the three teams that are fighting for this division right now. I know it's early. We're not even 10 games in, but they're
Yep.
fighting
Oh
to
yeah.
start the year, and the Dodgers aren't just getting out of the gates and running away with the division right away. Um, so that makes baseball fun. And maybe it's just a battle for second base, a dogfight for second place.
Yep.
Uh, and that's what's going to get you in the playoffs with that wild card. So, which one of these teams has impressed you the most between the Padres, Giants, and the D-backs?
It's definitely for me, it's the Giants. They went into Houston and took all three games. That was very surprising. Like it's a tough place to sweep in. I mean, it's a tough to sweep any team, but for them to go in and sweep the Astros, that was surprising to me. But just back to your point, man, like you see the Dodgers get off to an 8-0 to start. That's gotta motivate the piss out of all these teams. And it's like, holy, like we gotta be almost at an A level to even compete with these guys. So I think it's going to push the Dodgers are going to push these teams to be better, to push their chips in at the deadline, and it's going to be awesome. Like this whole division is going to be awesome to watch for sure.
Yeah, for me, just going back to my question for you, most impressive has to be the Padres. I don't know that anybody's really expecting a ton out of the Padres this year, with the ownership issues, with them not spending money, with them losing important players to free agency, and for them to start the year undefeated up until this point, um, is very, very impressive. But let's get out of here. Let's go through what's coming up this week, this weekend. It's going to be the Astros taking on the Twins, White Sox versus the Tigers, O's versus KC, Tampa versus Texas, Guards versus the Angels, Jays versus Mets, Cardinals versus Boston. Then you have the Yankees taking on the Pirates. Also, you have the Reds taking on the Brewers, San Diego versus the Cubs, D-backs versus Washington, Dodgers versus Phillies, Miami versus the Braves, A's versus Rockies, and lastly, Seattle taking on those Giants that you have been impressed by. Which series, before we head out, maybe a series or two, which one are you keeping an eye on, and which one will you be watching uh, closely this weekend?
Well, the one that both probably circle on here is the Dodgers and Phillies. I think whenever those two teams get together, it's must watch TV. Another interesting one is the Orioles and the Royals. I think that could be an intriguing matchup as well. You're going to the Angels home opener, right?
Yep,
Oh,
I will be there.
that'd be good. That should be exciting for you. But what about you? What are you looking forward to?
Obviously, I'm going to the game tomorrow, so that'll be cool. I'm always hyped up about opening day.
Yeah,
Um, Outside of that, I think maybe Cardinals Boston kind of intrigues me just because of the history there. With them playing in the World Series a couple times back in the day.
yep,
Um, Second to that, my eyes have to be on the Braves series.
yeah.
I mean, I know they're I
Ugh.
know they're facing Miami, but is this the weekend the Braves get back on track? That's kind of where I'm at. They don't have time to waste, especially putting themselves in this big of a hole.
Yep,
And hey, I vouched for them. I said they're still going to do this thing. So,
yep.
um, but yeah,
That's all I got.
alrighty,
So that should be good.
all right. That's gonna do it for this one. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you on the next one. Later.